There is a moment in every confrontation that decides who holds the power, and almost nobody realizes when it happens. It's quiet. It's fast. It hides inside a pause so small most people miss it completely. Someone questions you, doubts you, challenges your motives, takes a shot at your character. Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's direct, maybe it's disguised as a joke, but the pressure lands, and in that tiny space before you respond, a choice is made. Most people don't choose consciously. They react automatically. They rush to explain. That's not what I meant. You misunderstood me. I would never do that. It sounds reasonable. It sounds mature. It sounds like the right thing to do. But that instinct to explain yourself is the exact moment you step out of power and into submission. Because the second you defend yourself, you accept something without realizing it. You accept that the other person has the right to judge you. And once you accept their frame, you're no longer standing above the situation. You're inside it. You're playing on their ground, under their spotlight, according to their emotional rules. And in social dynamics, the person explaining is rarely the one in control. Power has never belonged to the one who talks the most. It belongs to the one who looks the least shaken. When you start justifying yourself, you step into their emotional storm. You match their energy. You answer their tone. You try to clear the air. But clearing the air puts you in the position of the accused. Even if you're right, even if you're innocent, even if your explanation is flawless, you still look like the one trying to escape judgment. But the person who doesn't react, they don't look guilty. They don't look defensive. They look certain. And certainty, real or not, is what humans read as authority. In moments of tension, people are not analyzing facts. They're reading emotional signals. Who is tense? Who is rushed? Who is calm? Calm in the middle of pressure sends one message louder than words ever could. I am not threatened. And someone who isn't threatened is assumed to be higher in the hierarchy. This is something Niccolò Machiavelli understood centuries before modern psychology ever explained it. The one who rushes to explain appears unsure of their own ground. The one who remains composed appears above the need to justify their existence. And humans instinctively rank people based on emotional stability, because emotional control signals inner security, and inner security feels like power. The unbothered person creates psychological discomfort in others, because when someone tries to shake you and nothing moves, the doubt returns to them. They start questioning their words, their tone, their decision to attack, and self-doubt drains power fast. Here's the trap most people fall into. They think they're protecting their reputation, but what they're really doing is proving the attack landed. Your defense becomes evidence that the accusation touched something, and the moment people see something can touch you emotionally, they've found your pressure point. But when an accusation hits and your energy stays steady, your face stays relaxed, your voice doesn't tighten, your posture doesn't shift, the dynamic changes instantly. Now the focus isn't the accusation, the focus is you. And what people see is someone who cannot be emotionally moved. That is intimidating on a level people don't consciously understand, but deeply feel. Silence, when it's controlled, creates pressure, not for you, for the attacker. Because now their words are suspended with no reaction to feed on. And human beings are deeply uncomfortable when their emotional energy isn't returned. So they start filling the space. They talk more. They repeat themselves, they get louder, more emotional, and every extra word makes them look smaller, while you grow in perceived control without speaking. Think about the most commanding presence you've ever experienced. Not the loudest person, not the most liked. The one who could sit still and make others uneasy. The one who didn't rush to correct misunderstandings. The one who, when challenged, didn't scramble to prove anything. That stillness forces people to confront their own insecurity, because when they can't move you, they start questioning themselves instead. and self-questioning weakens confidence. Confidence lost is power lost. Instead of turning accusations into defense, you let them dissolve in uncertainty. Someone says you're arrogant. Most people shrink themselves instantly, but you remain neutral, calm, almost curious. Okay, that's all. No denial, no explanation, no emotional spike. Now the doubt shifts. Did that land? Why didn't that affect them? Do I look emotional right now? You didn't fight. You didn't agree. You let them sit alone with their projection. And projection without resistance collapses inward. In social settings, this becomes even more powerful. Someone throws a jab in front of others. All eyes move to you. That's the test. Most people tense up and try to repair their image immediately. But the person who stays relaxed, grounded, still. Now the energy shifts. The room stops evaluating the claim. They start evaluating your composure, and the person who cannot be socially shaken is assigned higher status automatically. Because emotional self-control is interpreted as psychological dominance, the world teaches you to clear your name. But here's the paradox. The more you chase innocence, the more guilty you appear. The more you ignore the attack, the more untouchable you seem. Because humans fear what they cannot provoke, and someone who cannot be provoked cannot be steered. That makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability forces caution. Caution is the beginning of power. Sometimes the strongest move isn't silence, it's absence. No reply, no reaction, no visible response. You don't block, you don't argue, you don't escalate. You simply remove your energy. And without emotional feedback, most people unravel. They push harder, they talk more, they expose their own instability. You didn't defeat them. They defeated themselves trying to get a reaction. Eventually, something shifts in how people see you. You're no longer someone who reacts. You're someone who sets the emotional temperature of the room. Your calm becomes a boundary. Your stillness becomes a message. I am not available for emotional manipulation. And once people feel that, they stop trying to move you. Not because they like you, but because they know it won't work. You stop living in defense. You start living in definition. You don't explain who you are. You embody it. You don't argue your value. You let your presence communicate it. You don't chase understanding. You remain grounded in your own certainty. And that creates something words never could. An aura. A sense that you are anchored in yourself so deeply that outside noise cannot pull you off center. That is real power. Not loud, not aggressive, immovable. And when you reach that point, attacks lose their force before they even land, because people sense it. This person does not play defense, and the one who never plays defense is the one nobody can corner.